So, like everyone else yesterday, I was fully expecting the Sue Gray report to finally be released and to probably finally see what the verdict would be of the Conservative Party on Boris Johnson. But as I have said before, multiple things could happen when that report comes out. And we will get into that because that stuff is quite interesting to talk about, and the consequences, of course, that could very well follow on from that. But of course, why has the report not been released yet? Well, on Tuesday, it was announced that the Met Police were actually finally investigating all these lockdown breaking rules going on in Downing Street, and they are having their own criminal investigation. And from what we have heard, the reason why this was not released yesterday, and we'll get into when it might be released in a bit, but the reason why it wasn't released yesterday was that not only Met Police lawyers, government lawyers, and also HR people involved in Whitehall were going over it. They are already going over it to find out what these rules are and what these rule breaking stuff were so that they can now act. So that is why we have heard so far that there has been this delay. So you might be asking, well, if they finish with it today, why not release it later today or tomorrow? If Boris Johnson were to try and do that, that would be seen by his fellow Tory MPs as being a very, very cowardly move. The reason being is that traditionally, both Thursday and Friday of the week are days when MPs return to their constituencies and predominantly do their constituency work. So there are less MPs in and around Westminster, and it would be perceived as being very cowardly because MPs, especially the Tory MPs, would definitely want to have their say on the Sue Gray report. Not only that, it would also look very, very bad for Johnson if, well, there aren't, shall we say, a lot of Conservatives MPs behind him. It would be very, very bad optics for him to do that. So when is the potential release date for this? Looking at it now, it is not going to be potentially Thursday or Friday. The government and Number 10 may get the report themselves. They may get it on Friday, but they, again, as I've said before, they will not release it. It will be very, very bad optics for Boris Johnson to, again, release this report and not have MPs have their say. Not only that, being done on a Friday means that Parliament obviously rises at the end of business on Friday and then doesn't return until the Monday, which would leave MPs stewing at least for 2 days if the report got released. And again, Boris Johnson doesn't want that. So while he might, shall we say, get the report, it will not be properly released until next week. Monday has been mooted as a possible day, as well as potentially next Tuesday, but it's coming next week. And as we've said before, it's either going to come out on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. I know that's like, pick a day when you're going to come out, but that's it, essentially. We are waiting on that day. So what happens then? Well, from the fact that the Met Police, again, have gotten involved, we can only pretty much surmise that it is not good and that it is not going to go well for Boris, for the pure fact that they're investigating. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good at all. Not only to Boris Johnson, but to the rest of the Tory party. And as I've said before, and I'm lucky that Keir Starmer has now started this line of attack, that if Tory MPs don't give him the boot, they are complicit in this as well. And again, trying to make it not just a Boris Johnson scandal, but a Tory party scandal. And that will definitely set the cat among the pigeons in the Tory party. But of course, obviously, if this does come out and, shall we say, MPs don't like what they have to say, Rebel MPs have already been rumoured to say that after this report has been released, they have said if they want to get rid of Boris Johnson, they have 24 hours. 24 hours to get the required 54 letters to the 1922 committee. That is not a lot of time. Now, already we do not know how many letters have gone to the 1922 committee. So we have no idea what, if there is even a starting number to start with. So we've got to assume 0, unfortunately, but that's the way it's going to play out. So we've got 24 hours, and assume it this way: if 24 hours pass and there is no call by the chair of the 1922 committee for a vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister, then Boris has got away with it, essentially. That's essentially what's going to happen. Boris has got away with it. He's survived Partygate, yet another scandal that would have taken out any other Prime Minister. Any other Prime Minister. I mean, even if, let's say, Jeremy Corbyn had won in 2019 and this Partygate had happened, Corbyn would probably do the right thing and have resigned over this. But there's no way Corbyn would have survived this long. Tory MPs would have been calling for his head on a pike. Not so, of course, for Boris Johnson, even though, again, opposition MPs are indeed calling for the Prime Minister to resign. It's, again, very similar. But what matters, of course, is your own party in this case. And the Tory party seems split on what they want to do because, as I've said many, many times, once that vote of no confidence is called, we then go into secret balloting of do you have confidence or do you not? And Boris Johnson has said he intends to fight the vote of no confidence, meaning there is a chance Boris could survive that vote of no confidence. Again, another way he somehow survives that this scandal. Now, how much that vote of no confidence is going to be, well, I generally don't know. We'd actually have to wait until the announcement of the vote themselves to actually find that out. But those are the two ways you've heard of Boris surviving. What if he doesn't survive? There is always the opportunity that after this report comes out and he reads it himself, he realizes, I can't stay, I'm leaving. You know, shockingly, Boris does the right thing. That is a possibility. The other possibility I've said, of course, let us go to the 1922 committee, triggering the vote of no confidence. Boris loses the vote of no confidence. We get into a leadership contest. And we've talked at length about how interesting, shall we say, a Tory leadership contest is indeed going to be. But those are the potential scenarios. That Boris somehow survives the Sue Gray report, that enough letters do not go into the 1922 committee, and that somehow he survives the vote of no confidence if the letters do go in. Those are his only two ways out. There have been rumours, of course, that the Prime Minister is going to attempt a reshuffle, maybe of his cabinet, and of course rolls around in number 10 to say, hey, look, things have changed, things are going to change, it's not going to be the same. But of course, this is Boris Johnson. This has been done before. Things haven't changed. Just because you change the captain doesn't necessarily seem that the good ship HMS Boris Johnson is suddenly going to change direction and be all smooth sailing from here. You know, you've got to change the ship name. And the chances of that happening are obviously quite big. But again, we are awaiting on the Sue Gray report, and we are waiting now until next week. So, like me, we await until next week. So please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button down below. And of course, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee. where you can, well, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.